Do do do, raining in June. Do do do, do do do. Whoa! What you doing, good buddies? Chief's just gone for a private swimming pool hire. Check this out. Let's get rid of that. Whoa! That's it. The Chief's here. We've got an episode of ArmaGEEKdon to do. Let's go check it out. Whoa, Nelly! You've joined us for another episode of ArmaGEEKdon. I'm your host, the Chief. Rocking a new setup here today. Hopefully the audio and the visuals are looking good. I've got a fun packed show for you today. A lot of segments coming up later on. I've got a special guest. I'm not wasting any time. Let's buzz this guy in. How do I do that? I press this button, I think. Bam!
It's Sjubb7, everybody.
Sjubb7. Co-creator of G.I. Joburg, the world's greatest podcast / YouTube G.I. Joe related thing.
Loving it.
Running in second place is Talking Joe, which also Sjubbs was a co-host on for a number of episodes. Enjoyed chatting to him there. How are you, good sir?
Never better, Chief. Living the dream, man, of a first-time dad. My own action figure, this little man. He's a sweet guy. He's a sweet dude. Apart from that, another day in paradise, man. Queensland is COVID-free.
There you
which
go.
Is
That's
so weird.
Yes.
We have no idea what it's like, the lockdowns and whatnot.
Now,
poor us. Shame.
As we
came
trapped
out in this paradise.
We're going to be talking about an action figure today. We're going to be talking about this guy. It's a classified Cobra Infantry Trooper. I've got a bit of business to take care of before we chat about him. Now, as COVID relaxed in the UK, Chief Dog took a trip out to, in the UK, what we would call charity shops. US would call thrift shops, I guess. What's your? Have you got a?
Yeah, I suppose a charity shop.
So I don't know if it is in the UK. All the money that you spend, it's like a bric-a-brac, second-hand kind of shop. All the money goes to charity. I don't know if that's the same in those US thrift shops. But anyway, Chief went out there to see what he could find. I've got a few things I picked up. £1.99. Grow your own chili.
Are we doing this again, Chief? Oh my God.
Basically, you get like these little, I guess they're like blocks of soil with chilies in. Put your water in, put them on the windowsill, grow some chilies. I don't know. I quite like the idea of it.
I hope you don't die.
I went looking for toys. That was the idea, but didn't find any. Did get myself one of these, 99p Pac-Man.
A little moleskin. You
know,
is it a moleskin? Oh, it's beautiful, man.
No, not really. It's just like kind of laminated. But, I mean, I'm going to need that for my copious notes. And then I got a present for the little one, for the daughter. She started reading or being read to these famous 5 Enid Blyton books.
Chief, now, did I call it or did I call it? She's become a little sleuth, hasn't she? She's become a little sleuth. Yeah, she has become a detective, and part of the reason is this. So we got her some secrets. So we don't really buy books anymore. We go to the library. Well, we don't buy new books. We basically just secondhand only, because library, they're free, and charity shops are 99p each. And these are by Enid Blyton, who I think was born like 1897. So these are proper old school in terms of terminology and stuff. So when my wife reads them to Evelyn at bedtime, she actually pauses every now and again. I said, "What's going on?" And she's like, "Well, I have to edit it because in this, only the boys are allowed to go cycling or rock climbing. The girls have to stay at home sewing or stuff like that." So she edits it. So the boys end up sewing sometimes and the girls go rock climbing. But then she has to remember which characters she put into which scenarios. But anyway. I'm sure Evelyn would catch that. Yeah, good. Very astute young lady.
So she's well into detective stuff. She's writing down mysteries and stuff. So she'll write a question like, why does Daddy always tell me to eat my veggies? Or Or why is this snail in this position in the garden? And then she'll try and brainstorm and break out, try and find out what was going on. But very interesting. That's my charity shop thrift store goodies. Hopefully this will be a regular thing, and I'll have something more toy based, more geek culture based next time. But just before we go on to the action figure, I've got one more thing. I'm reading a few comics at the moment, some Chief Dog recommendations. There's this book. It's called The Sixth Gun, and this is a series by Cullen Bunn and Brian Hurt. They've done a lot of work for Marvel and stuff, but this is produced by Oni, and it's kind of like Wild West meets supernatural elements. And there are these, these guns. There's 6 guns. Each one shoots the flames of purgatory. One shoots like flesh-eating stuff, and
which is the 6th one?
The 6th gun is the one, I think, which gives like a prediction of the future.
Exciting.
So yeah,
what I like, that tasty little spread that you just flicked through, is the fact that it doesn't seem too heavy on the word balloon. Well,
no, you do. It's
okay. There's talky sections and then there's silent sections.
But there's different groups who are after these guns for different purposes. And I have read it once when it came out like 10 years ago, whatever, but I couldn't really remember it. So I'm doing a full reread on that. Go and check out The Sixth Gun. It's all completed now. I'm also rereading Green Arrow. This is actually one where he teams up with, a bit of glare on that, where he teams up with Green Lantern. And this is where Green Arrow, Ollie Queen, original Green Arrow, died in a plane crash. And now his son, Connor Hawke, has taken up, he was raised in a monastery. He's taken up the mantle as Green Arrow. He just teamed up with Green Lantern there. That's a good series. That's from the 90s. And the other thing I'm reading is this, or just finished this. This will be going up for sale. I've been selling a lot of comics. It's called, the series called Justice. It's a 12-issue series, DC. And it's got fully painted art by Alex Ross. I mean,
oh, wow.
The art is incredible. However,
is that the Joker, or is that
Mortis Joker? However, what I'm finding is actually there's the original Green Arrow there. Look. What I'm finding is his art is amazing for pin-ups, but for sequential art, I'm finding it, because he draws the characters in a very kind of realistic manner, as if they're out of the 1940s or 50s, no muscles, Batman's just got like a flat torso, no musculature drawn on the legs or anything. It doesn't feel comic booky. So it's struggling with the art, even though he's an amazing artist. I'm struggling with the art in that sense. I've seen him do some Western stuff or military stuff.
The storytelling is tight, isn't it? I mean, you can follow the action.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I like my superheroes to be
cut,
fantastical.
You need to see some good physiques.
Yeah.
Oh, Chief.
Oh, but anyway, listen, we're going to talk about a G.I. Joe classified. I've got 2 here, so I've got one in the box.
Yes, will he remain in the box?
Well, no, because I've got a second one, because I was getting 2 of every troop, whether that be Marvel Legends, Star Wars Black Series, G.I. Joe Classifieds. I was getting 2 of every troop because I had an elaborate movie / content idea for that would require 2 of every troop. But as with most of my content ideas, it's just gone down the pan. So that guy might be sold. He might open, I don't know. But
just shelved for now, Chief. Come on, don't sell yourself short.
I'm kind of out of the G.I. Joe Classified game. I sold all of my heroes, with the exception of a boxed Snake Eyes, which I got sent by Gary from a Talking Joe fan, sent me one all the way from the States. So I've got him still. But all the others I've sold. I've kept a Cobra Commander, Supreme Snake, a Destro, and 2 Red Ninjas. That's what I got. And this guy. I had a Viper arrive the other week, but I sold it straight away.
Well, then I suppose you won't have any interest in, say, and I'm going to share my screen with you, buddy.
Yeah. I did have a little look at. Go on.
Well, here we go.
Barbecue looked amazing.
Oh, you like barbecue? I was gonna roll heavy and say this guy.
Major Blood.
No.
Oh, it's there. I've got to do it. Have I? Add to stream. Oh, the roadblock. Oh. Yeah.
Hey, ain't that
now,
a beauty?
It looks great. Now, I do have a slight issue. I've probably raised it before in that I struggle with heavy militarized figures. I don't feel comfortable with toys having realistic guns.
But
I have no problem.
You're one of the only ones.
I have no problem with a guy shooting a laser. Like Star Wars Stormtroopers is fine, but this guy with this realistic guns, or this guy, I don't like it. And the original 3 3/4, I don't mind because they look like toys. This doesn't look like a toy. It looks like a realistic militarized figure, and something about it just doesn't make me feel comfortable with a toy with a gun.
But as you were saying, this guy, however,
an axe and a flamethrower all over that. That's brilliant. Garish, orange color.
I think he's actually putting out fires, Chief. So that's like fire retardant foam, maybe.
Even better then.
I mean, that's pretty lethal right there. He's weaponized.
He's one of my favorites as a kid because I obviously grew up on Action Force and he featured heavily. But you like the look of that
guy? Yes, it's an exquisite figure. I've just always found barbecue to be an awkward fit for G.I. Joe. Yeah. Like, you're either that kind of cartoon-inspired, like, everyone's just running around the battlefield, whether you're a fireman, a sailor, or a frontline soldier. Or you kind of compartmentalize these things and just relegate him to sitting on the flag, waiting for a fire to break out.
Yeah. Wait till they do Shipwreck then with Polly in the hat. Jesus.
You know what? Shipwreck's just such an icon and such a wonderful character that... You know, I buy him. I love to just use him in whatever scenario because he's just a fish out of water. That and the fact that he's got a big old Han Solo kind of vibe. You know, he doesn't really want to be there. He's like,
no. All right, let's have a look at this.
Weapons in ancient religions are no match for a good blaster, just side kid.
Right, so let's have a look at this guy. I mean, the head sculpt is really good. The eyes.
Why don't you pick up your screen, man? People don't need to see me.
All right. Well, go solo, you're saying?
Yeah. Hello, Chief, big boy. Okay, so you've chosen to take his helmet off, and he's got like a body glove.
So he's got. I don't know if does this jacket come off. I don't think it does. But that's okay. You know. The jacket.
Give me some wild posing, Chief. Come on. He's looking very stiff.
Yeah, so he's got drop down. He has drop down hips, as with most of these G.I. Joe ones, which enables him to, you know, do crazy poses, and you can.
Good luck trying to top that in your splits challenge.
Yeah, right. But the posability, you know, on these guys is really good. You got this, you know, a crazy ankle rocker for a broken ankle there. You got the double knee joint, which has the knee pad there, which obviously the knee pads are cool because it kind of helps to hide that joint a little bit. You have a butterfly, joint in there, which gives you the range to kind of bring his arms across his chest a bit.
That's great.
A bit more.
A little bit of dual wielding pistol action, perhaps, if the bloody vest didn't get in the way.
The vest didn't get in the way. Head wise, you've got a little bit of tilt. Then obviously you got what we got here. Going back, it can look up a nice amount. Down, it can look down really nice, and then obviously you get
that trooper a Cobra claw, man, because he's got great head motion for it. Like, you know, it's always a pity that like the jetpacks of the classic line, the figures didn't have enough tilt to kind of look good wearing them.
No. The bodysuit does. I mean, he can bend down, but in terms of crunching, the bodysuit kind of gets in the way a little bit. I don't know if you probably have to cut that off. I think because I don't see any clasps anywhere.
I am seeing a lot of holsters, Chief. What's going on in them?
Okay, so we've got 3 holes in the back, as you can see, 3 pegs. Now you get one of these, which You get a rifle, which will peg in the back, and
lovely.
The rifle is
Nerf.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I've seen that actual Nerf gun in department stores.
You get one of these.
Cool.
And
not bad.
These real stubby little knife there, and of course you get his
lid.
You get his lid, which has got kind of nice little patches on the side. Oh, that trim. See, I'm not a stickler. I'm not a stickler for everything having to look exactly like it did back in the day. I'm absolutely not. I actually liked the design of that first Roadblock figure that they released with a gold trim that fans absolutely savaged, which is why they redid it with new non-gold colors, and kind of why they've re-released a new Roadblock. I actually am one of the few that liked things not being, you know, as it was originally. But you say holsters, so what we got at the back, we got a slot at the back there for his pistola.
How would you draw that? That's weird.
We got high
in
knife.
The small of his back. Is he John McClaning it? That's his left hand, though, Chief. See, Southpaw.
Yeah.
Southpaw Trooper. Wow. Okay. Then what's the chest holster for? Second pistol.
Oh yeah, where is the second pistol? Did I? Oh yeah,
it's in the bag. Oh dear.
It's in the bag.
Dude, this guy is packed. I mean, like, for a standard trooper, he's carrying a lot of hardware.
Second pistol, then the knife in this top section here. I mean, look, it sticks out a little bit, but
2 pistols. Cobra does not muck around. Their rank and file trooper is carrying a lot of expensive guns.
2 pistols, and then he comes with so you know, you've got real good range on this arm, bit more than 90 degrees on that.
Wow.
You get a bicep swivel, you get a wrist swivel as well, and then you obviously get a swivel and the butterfly joint up in the shoulder, which is really nice. And then let's see how he holds. Is it 1 trigger finger? It's 2 trigger fingers. He's got 2 trigger fingers, obviously, because he's got 2 or more than guns. But I have seen this quite a lot with some of the Black Series figures that I'm getting Sjubb7 back in.
Hi.
I am seeing this quite a lot with some of the Black Series figures that have only 1 trigger finger but 2 pistols.
Useless. Well, look, not everyone is ambidextrous.
So where would you have his hand underneath?
You can either hold the magazine, or if there is a magazine, there is. In there.
I could use the peg as like a hand.
No, try and forget that thing exists. That's a fourth wall break. No, get his other hand to support the grip, the foregrip. Yeah.
On the same hand.
No, the in the front, Chief. The flat section underneath the barrel. Yeah, baby. Now you're rifling that bad boy realistically. If you can bring it right into the shoulder, that'd be even cooler. I made this point on a recent podcast that, like, the 6-inch guys, much as it pains me to say this because I'm 3 3/4 inch till I die, the 6-inch guys kind of are the idealized version. Like, when we played with these, we were imagining those, what you've got. And anyone who wants to see that beautiful figure again, this is actually the Cobra Night Watch version of the Cobra Trooper. I've given him an AK-47 because that just works. But yeah, the Night Watch represents some of the body parts having been lost already. This is a 2004 or 5 figure. He's got Roadblock version 1 arms and waist piece, but they work. And the motion is uninhibited in spite of it not being his dedicated crotch piece.
He's really cool, man.
He's great. Got a kind of a mottled grey jumpsuit as opposed to the straight up blue. And some great added details. Can't really see it too well because my camera and my lighting suck so much. But
kind of got it.
Cobra symbol. Ah, you got it. Excellent, Chief. Now he is left-handed. Come on, man. What made you give up? You got to up your posing game, buddy. Got to up your posing game. There he is. The man, the legend.
Very white, almost greenish face on my one.
There was some variation to that paint application. Some of them came out very kind of yellowish. Some of them are a bit pinkish.
Yeah, so this guy, he is a great figure, man. He's a great figure. There's tons of articulation with this guy. Enough accessories for you to army build these, and have them doing different stuff. I think this is the second infantryman they did. They did a Cobra Island infantryman, which I think is getting a
bits and bobs.
Fine. He came with a sniper rifle.
Oh, did he? And wasn't there also some kind of unit patch, or like there's a different marking to kind of set him apart as like a leadership figure or something?
Possibly, yes. But you get a couple of these flanking Cobra Commander. It's going to look good. I like that he's he feels a bit beefy, and the flak jacket obviously does a lot to make him feel a bit more chunky. But even the patchwork and the wrinkles on the trousers, it's a great design. And a lot of this, as with most action figures that are mass produced, is a lot of reuse from other figures. But it's quite clever and quite easy just to repaint stuff and only use part of the reuse here and there to make you think you're getting a completely new figure.
Chief, you don't strike me as someone who's trying to get out of the classified game.
Well,
to be perfectly honest.
Well, I like the villains. I like villains in anything. So whatever the IP or franchise is, I prefer the
Major Blood. Surely you're going to get him.
He looks good, but I think he's a bit hard to get hold of. I've actually got a boxed Zartan over there that I haven't opened because I hate that exposed midriff on him. I hate it.
Sorry, buddy. It is what it is.
And again,
they're doing the vintage original.
I can give that a pass on the 3 3/4 because that's what it was, and it was funny and hokey for its time. But now he's not going to be exposing his six-pack like that. If they're trying to make a realistic line, just cover it up. Just give him a shirt or something. Anyway, so
don't mess with the icons, my friend. You get the wrath of the fan base.
I was going to sell him, but I mean, he's dime a dozen over here, so I'm only going to get retail price for him. So. Yeah.
So raffle him to your channel.
Could raffle him. That's a good idea, actually.
If you hit X number of subscribers or something.
Yeah, I like it. £1 a ticket.
Oh, there's that. Yeah, very good.
Yeah. So this guy overall, I am going to give this guy quite a good mark. I think I'm going to give it. I haven't been grading stuff, but I think I'm going to give him at least a minimum of 8 out of 10. He placed quite highly on my top 50 when I did my top 50 action figures. He placed quite highly, and that is just because of the design. I'm kind of going against myself because the design has him very militarized, and I basically said I don't like militarized figures. So I don't know what I'm doing. Is the upshot.
Look, at the end of the day, he's also wearing blue with a big old cobra on his chest. There's something very stylized about him, very iconic and timeless. He's not, he didn't step off the screen of a Call of Duty game.
No,
like he's stepping out of the 80s kind of very iconic baddies, goodies.
Yeah,
green, blue. So there's that goes against its highly militarized feel.
We're gonna have a very quick chat about Bad Batch in a minute, but before we get to that, in your personal collecting, obviously you're a man torn between 2 locations, but putting your collection together, are you still actively out there searching for vehicles and figures that you still need/want?
Oh, of course, Chief. Okay. Not a day goes by when I don't flick through Facebook, marketplace listings, eBay.
And do you have kind of like a price point for which you're willing to pay? And does condition matter to you? And is there ever an end point? If you get everything, what happens then?
I will never get everything. I kind of drip feed my G.I. Joe collecting. It doesn't all happen in one big go. I get fixated about something and I kind of fantasize about it and make up fanfics in my mind long before I teeter on the brink of bidding on an auction.
Right.
And at the moment, it occurs to me that I've never owned my own Sky Striker.
Okay.
And it's time I remedied that. But they've become quite pricey online, and I know that they don't necessarily have to be. I know a few brick and mortar stores in the United States where you could get one complete for $100.
Right.
I'm kind of looking for that opportunity online.
Sounds like a good deal.
Oh, it's a brilliant deal. That's unheard of. In fact, I imagine they probably inflated that somewhat, even these brick and mortar sellers.
Right.
But you know, condition is something that is variable, because you can quite handsomely polish a Sky Striker. You know, strip all the decals off, and then get repro stickers and get that bad boy looking spectacular.
Yeah.
Something that you do need to watch out for are the springs on the landing gear, so those doors kind of flick back in nicely. But those aren't impossible to replace. So you just got to know what you're doing, I guess.
Yeah.
But hey, if anyone has a line on a nice Sky Striker they want to drop down in the comments and let me know. Links
to all of Sjubb's stuff down below. I'm going to do a quick size comparison here. Here's the Cobra Infantryman next to a Marvel Legends Black Widow.
Like they were made to be together, man.
Kind of see her giving these guys some beef. I think I quite like cross IP-ing stuff. You know,
it's the reason I'm a slave to scale, Chief. I love me some crossover.
There's a NECA.
Come on, NECA. What are you doing?
Skewing slightly big. I mean, look, these are both branded as 1/12 scale, I think. Well, I don't know if the NECA ones are. Are they 1/12? But
I wouldn't say so, no.
I love that. I'm gonna
they are all a bit bigger.
Let me do this one as well.
Whoa, crotch shot. No, forget about it.
That's a 1/12 scale guile. Okay.
And
then the last one here. You know,
that's Marvel Select.
That's Marvel Select, but I quite like that scale. I think
that works.
You can almost do whatever you want. You can have him being, you know, a head taller than human size, or you can have him being 5 heads taller, because who knows how gamma radiation works.
And who knows how those purple trousers work? I mean, if that was the scale of the Cobra Trooper originally, that's some spandex that he's wearing.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Let's measure trouser from waist to tear. Yeah, you're right.
Forget about it.
Yeah, about it. Very good.
It's that old Toy Fair magazine joke that always poked fun at the fact that, like, the one area where his trousers never ripped, the groin.
The groin, yeah.
It seems gamma radiation doesn't have effect on your Johnson.
He's packing some peanuts down there. Now, Bad Batch, I was very excited. Well, no, that's a lie completely. I wasn't excited at all. Now, Clone Wars for me is probably in the top 3 TV shows of all time. Rebels I enjoyed to a degree. I don't think it was that great. But then obviously we had a hint of Bad Batch from that last season of Clone Wars, although you haven't seen that. But so when they spilled out into their own show, I was like kind of lukewarm on it. And then that opening episode was like 80 minutes or something, or an hour and a half, wasn't it? It was crazy long. And I have now, I'm not caught up. I'm one behind, I think. I just watched a silly one with a baby Rancor. Have you seen that one?
Oh, I saw that one last night.
Okay, that's the one I watched.
And presumably that is the Rancor that Luke Skywalker kills.
Yes.
Murders.
Yes, I hope so.
That's pretty dark, to be honest.
Yeah.
And Disney has kitty-fied it up. They want to make a plush of the bloody Rancor, clearly.
Well, you can sell baby Rancors plush. I'm sure you can. I'm amazed at the level of CGI. That the animation here, for me, is incredible. The lighting, the atmosphere, the shots, the direct, everything looks incredible. However, I'm just...
No one came here to hear unanimous praise, Chief. Come on, let's hear it. Tear this one on you.
Well, I understand they've Disney-fied it up by putting in, you know, some stupid kid that no one cares about, which I guess I was going to say they had to do, but they probably didn't have to do. There's enough people that are going to watch it even without that. Kids are still going to watch it even if that Disney kid's not in it. And she does it no favors, but she's the moral hook, I guess, to the story.
Chief, I know it's. I think it's, you know, they're trying to give kids a role model, but if I dial my mind back to being a kid, like, I didn't need a child to be my stand-in ever. I was rooting for Brave Star because he was cool, or Optimus Prime because he was awesome. It's not because I could like imprint upon them like, oh, that's me. I forget that nonsense, man. So I've always had a problem with this notion that you need a kid to form the lens for the audience. Forget that.
The main characters, how, you know, I don't mind Hunter, the leader dude. He's fleshing out a little bit. The big dude's just a bit too dumb all the time. I think that joke's wearing a bit thin. The tech dude, I love his outfit, his get up. He looks fantastic. Like Echo as well. I guess although he's a bit of, they've not done anything with him since in Clone Wars, where they found him and he was kind of this half cyborg human thing where they messed around with him. They haven't really done anything with him yet, I don't think, in this series. But and then the dude, the bad guy, he hasn't been in the last couple, has he? Crosshair or whatever his name is.
Yeah, I wish there's more focus on them and less on the misadventures of Omega.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stop harping on that point because I've got one or two nitpicks. That one is a style choice and the other is something that is a little bit of a plague when it comes to Star Wars IP. The style choice is, in animation, it always feels like characters are over gesticulating. So the acting of these CG characters are always a little bit like, I mean, just bring in the performance a little bit. You don't have to hit the back wall of the theater. You're in close up. And so animators need to understand that as well. It's a technique of playing to camera, which is like literally a few inches away from your face. So I never like this over movement that animators put into these characters. Another nitpick, maybe the Kiwi accent is slightly overstayed its welcome, and I know this is a hugely problematic statement to make because we're so used to Hollywood productions where everyone has an American accent. But like, it's now very much the dominant dialect of Star Wars because of the clones and because of Boba Fett now and Jango, the clones, the stormtroopers. We keep on hearing Kiwi. And I feel like, you know, a taste of it is great. You know, the Korg, Taika Waititi's voiceover character in Thor Ragnarok, wonderful. But if all of your principal cast speak in that same dialect, save for Tech, he's got a bit of a public school, you know, posh accents. But everyone else has the same like, you know, Kiwi drawl. I'm like, who am I listening to now? Even the kid,
the kid's very pronounced. But it's interesting that the Clone Wars era seems to have been the one that's kind of ballooned out into being more content, more mainstream almost than the original Saga era. Don't you think? We seem
probably
to be...
because you've got all these disposable characters whose destinies are not set in stone. Like, who knows what happens to them when we get into the events of the original trilogy? They could be dead. They could be scattered. They could join the rebels. Like, it's an open book. Whereas, you know, there are only so many stories you can tell with Luke Skywalker these days.
Well, you know,
it'd be nice if they did, though. I would buy that.
I was going to say, would you like to see? Well, we saw Luke at the end of Mandalorian, but would you like to see, say, an animated show set? What was that?
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. Would you like to see, probably seen? Would you like to see an animated show set like in between episodes 4 and 5, or in between 5 and 6, or?
Everything is problematic at this point because of the goddamn sequel trilogy. I don't want to see anything in between 5 and 6 because ultimately you're going to get to Return of the Jedi. You know, the time span between the movies is problematic because exactly how long were the rebels waiting to get Han Solo from Jabba the Hutt? Like, why are you dragging your heels, guys? Just send a couple of X-Wings and that'll sort out vile gangster Jabba the Hutt right quick. You don't have to do this kind of infiltration mission using your princess. Bloody hell, man. Talk about like...
question. How long was Lando stationed there? 2 weeks, a month, 2 months? What do you think? Should have interest.
It's probably a pretty low threshold to be one of Jabba's thugs, but you got to prove yourself somehow. It must be around a month, but they left. They went straight after Empire. They went straight to Tatooine.
Yeah.
Look, Shadows of the Empire fills in the gaps.
Yeah.
And I'm not completely au fait with that. But ultimately, even if you have the most wild adventures in that interim and destroy as many IG-88s as you want and have run-ins with Dash Rendar and whatever, like, you're ultimately going to get to the same point. And the point that I wanted to make up front was the sequel trilogy have now done the same thing to our perception of the gap between 6 and 7. So it's kind of ruined that for me. I didn't want Luke's destiny to basically become Obi-Wan, to start a Jedi school and put on the robes and become this dogmatic practitioner of the Jedi arts. I wanted him to be something new, something different. They dropped the ball on that, and I'll never forgive them, and the sequel trilogy is dead to me. The end. But Bad Batch, Chief, my brother, the other problem that is endemic to all particularly these like little fun animated adventures, is someone in the writing room thinks it's very clever to quote the original trilogy verbatim. And I'm not talking just like, I got a bad feeling about this. Stuff like that, which is, that's a pretty common usage phrase anyways. I'm talking about like quite extensive word for word quotes that they think is very clever because it sounds like Star Wars. Like the audience is like, that sounds like Star Wars. But Star Wars is so well known and we know these scripts so well, it immediately transports us to a far superior thing to watch. You're like, I'd rather be watching Empire right now because the delivery was a lot better in that movie than some voice actor in a booth in 2021 just saying the words that Obi-Wan once said, or Yoda once said, or Vader once said. It's not clever.
Went down to see our buddy Ben Flying Retro last weekend.
Oh yeah, how was it?
We had a barbecue, grilled up some stuff, and it was late, and we put on Return of the Jedi. We'd had a few gins, and it was like midnight or something. And he's like, "I've got to go to bed," and we left it with about 45 minutes to go. So went to bed, and
had to finish it.
I still don't know why we put Return on. We just flick him through and you just put it on. Oh, there it is. We'll watch this now. And I got up at like 6:30, and his youngest, no, not his youngest, not Scout, Indy came in at like 6:30, and I just started watching the end of the movie, and she sat down and watched it, the rest of it with me, and she was all questions about Star Wars and everything. And it was really cool. And it made you realize how great. Why am I watching Bad Batch when I've just watched Return of the Jedi and it was so good? I'd rather just watch Return of the Jedi again, because watching those movies never gets old. But anyway,
there's such a thing as too much of a good thing, and that's the case with Disney's era of Star Wars. It's like,
but I guess
the choice here.
As with everything, you can't keep pitching everything to your established fan base. You need to grow the fan base, and
And I'm glad that this stuff has a fan base. Kids these days are quicker to take on Anakin Skywalker as their hero than they would Luke. I mean, in fact, kids these days don't even care for Han Solo. It's like, he's that fuddy-duddy dude, flies the Millennium Falcon for like a few movies, and then he's
with
gone.
the grey hair who got killed. Yeah.
Oh God, don't remind me.
But so no, I get it, and we're going to get more of these Disney shows, and like we say, you don't have to consume it all. You don't, you can pick and choose what's good and what's bad, and what you want to watch and what you don't want to watch. But you kind of want it all to be good, I suppose, if it's part of an IP. But if it's not, then it doesn't matter, does it?
I do love the ship that the Bad Batch tool around in.
Yeah,
it's a very much more war-orientated Imperial shuttle, basically, with the sort of the the try configuration. But once again, like, it seems the writers are strapped for tropes with it because it's constantly breaking down. This is something that clearly Star Wars vehicles just do all the time. Like, they're always breaking down. We're always got to get parts for them. The hyperdrive, wah wah wah. Whether it's Mandalorian or Empire Strikes Back or Bad Batch, it's the same story.
We're definitely going to get some. I saw Bib Fortuna in that episode 4, whatever. But we're definitely going to get some bigger tie-in towards the climax of the season. I'm sure, you know, of a bigger character and some whoa kind of moment. Well, they're going to hope it's going to be a whoa moment, but you just hope that that's not shoehorned in or too cliched or too out of left field. But I mean, look, we'll see.
Always like us are just holding that candle in hope that there is some kind of build up, and it's not just a beige series adventures with these characters that we don't really care too much about.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That's why Rebels didn't really hit me as much, because I didn't particularly care about the characters. And it was like, okay, fine. And with this, a clear indication of how much I'm enjoying it is I was like 3 episodes behind at one point. I was like, well, clearly I haven't hankered for, and we chatted offline last week or whenever it was about the joy we get of a weekly episodic TV show, which was back from our youth, about when it was cool and everything wasn't just dumped there for you to stream and binge straight away. Having a weekly show is kind of a cool thing, you know, in these modern times. But even this, I was 3 weeks behind because I obviously thought, oh, new episode's out, I'll watch it later. And so I guess I'll watch it because the animation's cool and it's Star Wars, but I'm not rushing to watch it every week.
Well, maybe it'll come right, or maybe it'll just fade into obscurity. But hey, Chief, it's been a blast, my man. What other business do we have to conclude?
That's it. We're all tapped out here in ArmaGEEKdon. Big thanks to my main man, Sjubb7, Steve Jubber, for joining me here, having some good intellectual chat. Hopefully you'll join me again for another episode. Maybe I can do some more charity shopping and tell you what comics I'm reading. We'll look at another action figure.
Yeah, man. And how's the splits challenge going there, Chief?
Well, I did restart my splits. I'm doing.
Yes!
I found a new stretching program. I'm doing PNF stretching, which I had it written down. I can't remember what PNF stands for, but it's about contracting the muscle after you're stretching the muscle in the same pose, and that's supposed to help you. So I think I've seen gains, but until I film myself, we'll never know. So watch out for a splits video from the Chief coming up soon on a future episode. But the target is to do the splits by the end of the year still.
The target is to surpass that bloody double-jointed Cobra Trooper.
Yes. Well, that's not going to happen. Listen, thanks so much for joining, everyone. And make sure you do the share, the like, the subscribe, and all that jazz. Links and information to Steve's work down below. But until next time, make sure you keep it geek.
Cobra!